Salutations, people. I'm gonna be talking about Radiant, this series that I've been watching for a while, but I've not actually made any videos about or talked about yet. So Radiant or Radiant, I don't know the way they pronounce it. So it's like it's a series that I've been watching, and as currently there's 14 episodes out as the recording of this video, and I've seen every single episode. I just want to make my thoughts of what I think about this video. I mean, this series so far. So like 14 episodes in, that's like that's pretty much a whole season's worth of anime to talk about really in one video. I'll talk about. So why did I think the reason why did I watch this anime? I guess because I saw people talking about it in like comment sections and everywhere, and then what intrigued me the most was actually it was written by a French dude. I think that's what intrigued me. And then because it was like the first manga that's non-Japanese person to write, so I was quite interested in how a foreign person would actually write a manga, being a French person. So obviously that was like the main peak interest, like for me to find out and watch the show, and then to find out it's getting an anime adaptation as well. So I started watching it, and what do I think of it? Like I don't know how I feel about it yet. Well, in terms of pacing, I can tell how I feel about the pacing already. So 14 chapters in, 14 episodes in, I mean, there's not a lot of story progression. There isn't. There's not. There's literally nothing. Like, it reminds me a bit of One Piece pacing. But then, speaking of the similarities between Radiant and One Piece, I think there's quite a lot, to be honest. So, first time watching this series, I had the vibes that I got from this show were very similar to the vibes I got from One Piece, with the whole Nemesis being the Sea Kings and stuff. The whole vibes were there. I could see a lot of similarities. Maybe it's just me or people are seeing it as well. But that's why I could see noticeable as well. And obviously he wants to be, he's got the typical shonen formula down. He's got a big goal he wants to accomplish. He's got powers. He's probably a chosen dude, judging from the way this series is playing it out. And he's got his cast as well. He's got his main cast so far. So yeah, and yeah, that's why I think this show has so much One Piece vibes that I would like. That's kind of the reason why I'm watching it. I'm still watching it, to be honest, because of the One Piece vibes that I get from it. It reminds me of like a time when it was like a bit more fun. Reminds me of the first time I watched One Piece, pretty much. So yeah, it's got a really fun vibe to it, and like it's really colorful. And I think the artwork looks pretty nice, to be honest, but the animation is like, it's decent animation, nothing spectacular, outstanding. So like, let's talk about the MC though. Yeah. Oh my god, my mind's actually gone blank with the MC of the show. I forgot his name. No wait. Give me a second. Kind of forgotten his name. Wait, I'm gonna quick search. Alright, while I search for his name, right? I think the opening is pretty nice. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of youth. That's why it's got the youth energy, which is nice, And I quite like the whole song as well. It's a pretty nice song, to be honest. Yes. So like the whole series is about Nemesis. So there's like these creatures called Nemesis, which are like monsters that fall from the sky, and they cause a threat to humanity. And then the few humans that survive the Nemesis attacks are called sorcerers, and they're infected with magical powers and have the abilities from the Nemesis. But with these powers, sorcerers have become Nemesis hunters as they fight back the monsters, while being the only ones capable of fighting against the Nemesis. The sorcerers are nevertheless ostracized and persecuted by the rest of humanity. Yeah, and then he's called Seth. That's the name. There we go. I was just reading the synopsis of this off the Wikipedia. So the protagonist of Radiant is a teenage sorcerer that survived the Nemesis attack 10 years ago. Seth dreams of defeating all the Nemesis and bringing peace between sorcerers and the rest of humanity. Seth sets out on a quest to find Nemesis's origin, the Radiant. Oh, that's the one. It's alright. Yeah. So what I just read out was kind of like the synopsis that I just got from the Wikipedia. It doesn't really spoil anything, It gives you like an overview of what the whole show's about. So yeah, the Seth. So what do I think of the main character so far? Yeah, he does have the typical shonen-esque tropes. You know, he displays he's stupid, he's fun. You know, he's very blissful, oblivious, always looking for. Like, he just doesn't know what's going on. He's always cheerful and stuff like that. So, and like if you think about his goal is to find the Radiant, which is like where all the Nemesis come from, and is to like destroy it or just to find it. That in itself, it reminded me of One Piece because you know Luffy's goal was to find the One Piece. So he wants to find the One Piece, and he wants to find the Radiant. You know, can you see the similarities? Even the show is named after each other. So that's one similarity. And then another similarity is they're both quite cheerful and clumsy and stupid, that kind of stuff. So that was another similarity. And then, well, what else is good about Seth? Oh yeah. Oh my god. I just spotted this right now. And then Seth has like he has a teacher as well, or what do you call it? His mom, guardian, legal guardian, whatever. But a bit of both, you know. His teacher, Alma, she only has one arm too, you know. Guess who else only has one arm? And his Luffy's father, mentor figure as well. Yes, that's right. Shanks. You know, another similarity there. So there is quite a few similarities between the show, and then these nemesis they actually remind me of Sea Kings, because in I forgot in one of the recent episodes we just see these nemesis just flying around in the sky, and like it just reminds me of how the Sea Kings used to just like how they just used to roam around the Grand Line, the Dead Line zone especially. So yeah. So instead of like another comparison would be how the Radiant's all in the sky. Like, and One Piece is all about the water, stuff like that. Alright, enough comparisons. I'm just going to talk about what I think about the character. So yeah, I quite like his character design as well. That's another thing that drew me in. Like, I saw the thumbnail and I was like, yo, he's got an interesting character design. Quite like the look and feel of him, you know. So yeah, and one of his distinct features is his horn, and apparently all sorcerers have horns, or most of them do. But we haven't seen the other characters have horns, yeah. So he has like a horn as well, which is pretty cool. Gives him like a distinct trait, something that's pretty nice as well. And then I quite like the themes that he tackles in the show as well. So obviously he has how sorcerers are discriminated against, which is obviously I quite enjoy those kind of issues and conflicts about how different races or of people they are discriminated against, and how they can change and how they can handle it in different ways that different characters handle and react to the way they are treated. For example, how Seth, you know, he wants to protect these people even though they mistreat him badly. And then especially in the first two episodes we see like there's like a group oh yeah, there's like a group of thieves or sorcerers with the old dude and the two other delinquents, and like the way they react to the way the world is in the social climate, how the way sorcerers are treated, the way they act is they don't care about anyone else anymore. They don't give a damn about how people about helping people, because they feel like why should they help someone who hates them. You know, which is the view, you know, if I was in that situation, I probably would have, like, why would I want to help people who you know, despise me and try to, like, discriminate against my kind? It's not really a nice position to be in. So I can understand how those crooks felt. But those three have, like, a very Team Rocket vibes, you know. They're like, they're not really a threat to Seth, or they're not really enemies, but they are a nuisance and can get in the way sometimes. So I see like them as Team Rocket. It was pretty. They got a fun vibe. I quite enjoy that little comedic value as well. But then back to Seth. Seth has like he's also got hidden powers, I would say. He's got a bit of what do you call it? He's got a bit of a stacks to him. So so obviously with most shonen characters, the main character tends to be special, and then this guy has the special trait where you can use Fantasia, which is obviously the world's energy source in this, you know, the Nen, the Chi, the chakra, everything. In Haki, in this one, it's called Fantasia, and his special trait is that he can use it without gloves. So that's gonna make him special in the future. I can't wait to find out. He's like the son of the demon or something. Blah blah blah. It's gonna be something special, obviously. It's already quite obvious. And then we get the other supporting characters. Flip, what they call. So we got Doc support. That's kind. So bad with names. Let me Google them real quick. Alright, we got Melly, and like, yeah. What do I think of her? She's pretty good actually. I quite like her character, to be honest. It's quite interesting. She's got like a split personality trope going for it. Obviously, one of them is really nice and passive and has defense magic, and then the other one has is really aggressive, hot-headed, and is uses offense magic. It's a nice trope, you know. I don't really mind it that much. It's all right, and yeah, they got a nice bond going, like a good dynamic right now. Maybe they could be romance partners, or maybe they don't really focus on romance in this series. Just like Oda says, he doesn't focus on romance in this series, but they could be shipped together. And then we've also got Doc. He's kind of like the older of the three. I mean, he looks a lot older than those two anyway. Like Seth and Melly seem to be like similar age, whereas Doc's like a full grown dude just hanging out with like little teenage kids. But yeah, he's kind of like the mature one of the group, and I guess he's like the, what do you call it, the one who takes charge and responsible of everything. You know, the straight man of the group. That's the word I was looking for. You know, so I quite like Doc as a person as well. And then we get other characters like he's got a crush on that girl from the, what's she called? Forgot the girl, but like the girl has an interesting trope that I've not seen yet. So she's got like she's also got like a split personality, I guess, or a subconscious schizophrenia kind of thing, where like she wears a hand puppet, and she thinks it's a dad, or it could be a dad, but it's so weird because she's like, it's a hand puppet, and it's like pretending to be a dad. It reminds me of the show I used to watch when I was younger, or just a while ago, to be honest. Victorious. There's actually like the same thing going on there with one of the characters. He's got a puppet, and he like just talks back to the puppet, and he gets bullied by the puppet. It reminds me of that as well. Well, I've not seen it in an anime, so it's fairly new to me as well. So that's pretty much the main cast. What else can I say about those guys? Yeah, the Doc's pretty funny, to be honest, and he's not really strong like combat wise, but he does have the brains, and yeah, he has common sense, which sadly the other two do lack. And there's that little bird as well, a little creature that flies around. I forgot his name. That's kind of like the mascot. I've noticed that nearly every shonen series, you need like a mascot. You know, it's one of the things. Like Natsu has Hawk. I mean, what am I saying? Natsu, he has Happy. Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins, he has Pork. Pork. Oh my goodness. And then Luffy has Chopper. I mean, Naruto, I mean, he doesn't really have a mascot, but he kind of does when he summons his toads, I guess. But yeah, I guess Naruto doesn't have mascots. But like a lot of shows do have mascots in the shonen era. So yeah, it does have a really shonen feel. Oh yeah, and also like the Nero from Black Clover now, the newer one. It's got a mascot as well. Okay, so that's enough talking about the characters. Let's talk about the actual plot. So I don't know. There's not been a lot of plot development. That's what I'm talking about. The pacing is kind of rubbish so far. So with 14 episodes in, right, and literally Seth. If I could sum up for you, it'd be like Seth leaves his mentor, goes on his journey. He goes to it goes to like the sorcerer world. I forgot what it's called, and he lives there now. And then he's going on it, and then he meets what's it called? Who does he meet? He meets Yaga. Then his trainer. He gets trained. You know, he does a bit of training, and now he's on a mission, and he's in this new place. He's in Rumble Town, and that's literally it. That's literally all that's happened. And I don't know, it just feels like that those things could have been shortened down or been done quicker. It does not feel like 14 episodes worth of plot, really. But I guess they're going for that kind of pace. So, like, in terms of story development and progression, I would say this show is really weak. But obviously, I quite enjoyed the overall themes of the show. So obviously, I'll keep watching. And mainly, I don't know. Mainly, I think I'm watching this because I do. One Piece is my favorite show, and I see the show does have very a lot of similarities that One Piece have, and it's following in its footsteps. So I would like to see a One Piece clone, and this could be what I've been hoping for. So I'm quite enjoying it right now. So like it's not super enjoyable, but it's okay amount of enjoyable. Hopefully, I'm really hoping this show gets a lot better very soon. But yeah, this show is only meant to have 21 episodes, so I was hoping some kind of things would happen. It's not like Black Clover or Boruto where they just continuously push them out. This is a 21 season episode. That's kind of a weird number as well. But yeah, that's the number they've chosen to do as well. Yeah, but like let's talk about the fights in this show as well. The fights they're okay, I guess. They're not. I've not seen any spectacular fights going on. The longest fight is the one happening now with Seth versus that Inquisitor as well. What's he called? Conrad. That's the one versus Conrad. This buff dude, Lance and stuff. So that fight's it's actually looking alright, to be honest. I quite enjoy the action. There was a lot of tension going on last episode, episode 14. I don't know. That's not, but in terms of action right now, there isn't that much action going on. But yeah. But like let's talk about themes of the show as well. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just want to talk about the show really. So the themes of the show. Do you know what? I quite enjoy the themes of immigrant. In this new mini arc, let's call it a mini arc. It's called Rumble Town, a mini arc. So I don't know. I quite enjoy that themes of immigration being talked about in anime. It's pretty. I don't know. I quite like topics like that and a bit of conflict. So we get Conrad who despises immigrants, and he's kind of trying to frame them for what the Nemesis are doing, and he has obviously the people's mentality, the mob mentality to help, and he manipulates them into doing his dirty work to try it. And then he's like, he just wants to get rid of these immigrants because he feels like they're ruining his country and stuff. This is kind of like a real world scenarios and people, things that do happen. Like people do feel that way, and it's quite interesting to see it being portrayed in an anime. Because we don't really talk about immigration that much. I guess this is where the French influence comes in, because people in Japan, it's a very homogeneous country, so they don't really have that many immigrants, and it's not really a problem there because they don't have any at all. But obviously, in some other countries like France, where the owner is from, like there is a mass migration in Europe, so I can see why like he would discuss this issue in his work, because it's not, I wouldn't say an issue, but it is a topic of discussion, so which I do quite like seeing it in his work. I applaud him for it actually. But yeah, so what I think of the 14 episodes I've seen, I would just say so far the series has been okay. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too rubbish, just okay. Maybe so far I'm feeling like a 5 out of 10 for this series, like something I'll just watch if I'm bored. But hopefully, I have a high hopes for this show. I hope it becomes quite big and like one of the top shonens. I want to see it succeed, but I don't know at this rate. It's not gonna be a while until it succeeds. But that's it really. This was my discussion about Radiant so far.